picture this, okay? It is the very first morning in a new house.
Oh, the chaotic first morning, yeah.
Right. And you've got this tiny puppy standing by the kitchen table. And its little head, I mean, it doesn't even reach the tabletop yet.
Sure.
But if you look down, the paws are just absolutely enormous. Like they look like they belong to an entirely different, much larger animal altogether.
It's a classic visual, isn't it? I mean, the brain is firing, but the body is just this, floppy, uncoordinated mess.
Yeah.
It's like the chassis simply hasn't caught up to the wheels yet.
It really is perfectly adorable because you have this clumsy little guy following a kid across the kitchen trying to jump up to say hello to an adult.
Sliding everywhere.
Exactly, sliding around on the smooth tile floor. And then he gets distracted by a noise outside, finds a dish towel to steal, and then just completely exhausted, collapses into a deep nap right there in the middle of the floor.
Typical puppy behavior.
Right. But let's fast forward like exactly 4 months because it is the exact same puppy with the exact same brain and, the exact same emotional behaviors.
But the physics have changed entirely.
Completely, because now when that dog jumps up to say hello, it is reaching an adult's chest. When it pulls on the leash because it got distracted, it can physically unbalance a grown person.
Oh, yeah.
And that stolen dish towel, it is now a stolen Sunday roast pulled right off the counter.
Yeah, and the fear that made a tiny puppy, hide behind your leg, that now makes an 80, 100, or 130-pound dog physically impossible to guide anywhere it doesn't want to go.
Which is terrifying, honestly.
It is, and that's really the core mission of our deep dive today. We're looking at raising Great Dane puppies, and what becomes immediately clear across all the research is that this isn't just like some cute phase.
Right.
It is an incredibly short, highly urgent window. You are essentially tasked with preparing an emotionally young animal for a body that is about to become enormous incredibly fast.
And whether you are, actually prepping to bring one of these giant breeds into your home, or you're just fascinated by the sheer logistics of raising what is essentially a miniature horse in your living room.
It really is a horse.
Yeah, but this extreme growth curve, it's just fascinating to study. It's a masterclass in behavioral conditioning and physical development. Because with the Great Dane, you have to think months into the future before the dog even walks through the front door.
You really do. I mean, before you can even attempt to manage a massive puppy, the physical space just has to be prepared.
Yeah.
And critically, you have to understand the biological engine that is driving that rapid growth so you don't accidentally sabotage it.
Okay, let's unpack this prep phase.
Yeah.
Because puppy proofing for a Great Dane is a totally different ballgame than puppy proofing for a beagle.
Oh, absolutely.
You aren't just moving your favorite shoes into a closet. You are anticipating a dog that will literally clear a countertop within 12 months. The whole horizontal plane of your house entirely changes.
The danger zone moves up, yeah.
Exactly. And you have to plan on sizing up crates, beds, collars, and harnesses like multiple times in a single year.
And beyond the physical space, veterinarians really emphasize gathering all the medical and genetic records you can before day one.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, birth date, breeder history, current diet, and crucially, any health screening from the parents. We're talking cardiac history, hip screening, or general longevity in their genetic line.
So you're basically doing a full background check on the dog.
Pretty much. And this isn't because those records guarantee your puppy will be flawless, right?
Oh.
But it gives your vet a vital starting point for that first baseline visit.
And that first vet visit is huge. They're checking the heart, the lungs, the gait, the joints. But here is the part of the growth curve that really grabbed me.
Yeah.
There's this huge human instinct, especially with giant breeds, to think that bigger and faster equals healthier. Like we want to show off our massive puppy.
Oh, we all want the biggest dog at the park.
Exactly. But pushing for rapid growth is actually the absolute worst thing you can do.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is it goes against every human instinct we have to nurture a baby. But a lean Great Dane is a safe Great Dane.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, giant breeds are incredibly sensitive to nutritional imbalances. The biological goal is steady, controlled growth dictated by their genetics, their diet, and their sex.
So what does a healthy pup actually look like then?
Well, when you look at your puppy, you should be able to easily feel the ribs without a heavy layer of fat over them. You should see a visible waist from above and like a slight abdominal tuck from the side.
So definitely not a round, padded, roly-poly puppy.
No, not at all.
Even if the round one gets, way more likes on social media. It's kind of like trying to build a skyscraper.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, like if you rush the framing by just dumping extra concrete on the site, or in this case, throwing extra food or supplements into a puppy's bowl, the whole structure is actually compromised.
That is spot on. To build on that skyscraper analogy, if you dump extra concrete onto an unfinished steel frame, the building just collapses under its own premature weight.
Right, the bones can't take it.
Exactly. In a puppy, throwing extra calcium into a diet that is already formulated to be complete actually triggers the bones to remodel incorrectly.
Wait, really? Because you always hear that calcium is good for growing bones.
It's a huge misconception. People think extra calcium builds stronger bones, but in giant breeds, excess calcium throws off the entire endocrine system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it forces the bones to grow at a rate the joints simply cannot support, which leads to severe, often irreversible developmental issues.
Which is why the #1 rule here is that you never add calcium, bone meal, or growth powders to a complete puppy diet without a specific, targeted order from your vet.
Never. The engine is already running as fast as it safely can.
So if we're so hyper-focused on controlling their growth through, carefully measured diets, the actual physical act of them eating that food suddenly becomes a high-stakes scenario.
It really does.
Because their unique anatomy introduces some really intense risks right from day one. Like Great Dane puppies often gulp their food so rapidly that they end up coughing, regurgitating, or just acting frantic around the bowl.
Right, and slowing them down isn't just about good table manners. It is directly tied to one of the most significant health risks for this breed, which is gastric dilatation-volvulus.
Also known as bloat, right?
Exactly, GDV or bloat. Because of the Great Dane's exceptionally deep chest cavity, there is a lot of physical room in there.
Wait, most people think bloat is strictly an older adult dog issue. Is the puppy's stomach really that vulnerable to GDV already, or are we just practicing good habits early?
That is such a vital distinction to make. While we do see it more frequently in older dogs, that deep chest anatomy is present early on.
Okay.
Do you understand why it's so dangerous? You have to look at the mechanics of bloat. The stomach essentially acts like a hammock suspended in the abdomen.
A hammock, okay.
Right. And when a dog gulps food and air rapidly, that hammock fills with the gas. If it flips on its axis, which, again, that deep chest leaves room for, it traps the gas inside.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It is. It completely cuts off the blood supply to the stomach and surrounding organs. So yes, meal routines and GDV awareness are intrinsically connected from the moment you bring them home.
So if a puppy is pacing or trying to throw up and nothing is coming out, that's not just an upset stomach. That's a mechanical failure.
It is a true life or death scenario. The symptoms are very specific. You're looking for repeated unproductive retching, a swollen or drum-tight abdomen, severe restlessness, excessive drooling, or sudden weakness.
And you just don't wait on that.
No, absolutely not. If you see this, you don't wait to see if it passes. You are on the way to the emergency vet immediately.
Wow. So to avoid that, the recommendations are to use divided meals, slow feeder bowls, or even use their daily kibble as training rewards so they're forced to eat like one single piece at a time.
Exactly. You're managing the fuel intake. But, to process all that fuel and to support this massive physical growth spurt safely, the puppy's body requires something else in massive quantities.
Which is?
Downtime. Understanding how to manage this downtime is really the secret to raising a well-behaved giant.
We're talking about sleep. Because I read that an 80-pound puppy needs as much sleep as a human child.
Sometimes 18 to 20 hours a day.
That is insane. And when they don't get it, the physical and emotional results are instant. Lack of sleep immediately turns into worse coordination, wild behavior, biting, mouthing, and just overall frustration.
Basically a toddler missing a nap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why there is a strict rule across the board for kids in the house. Do not climb on or wake a sleeping puppy.
And that boundary has to start from the very first days. The advice for week 1 is to keep it incredibly simple.
Because everyone wants to come see the new puppy, right?
Yeah. Right. It's so tempting to invite the whole neighborhood over, but you want to avoid big family gatherings or crowded parks. You are trying to establish predictability in their neurology. Wake, toilet, eat, play, train, rest, and repeat.
And the toileting part requires constant vigilance. I mean, the windows are basically after waiting, after eating, after drinking, after playing, and before bed.
It's nonstop.
Yeah, and you reward the success heavily. You don't punish the accidents. But managing that routine brings up the crate.
Yes, the crate.
The crate needs to have enough room for them to stand, turn, and lie down. And here's where it gets really interesting for me. I know the word crate Sounds like cage to some people.
Sure, there's a negative connotation there.
Right, there's a real stigma. But if this breed bonds so intensely to their humans, isn't teaching them how to be safely and calmly alone in a crate just as much of an act of love as cuddling them on the couch?
It absolutely is, and behavioral science backs that up. Emotional resilience is a learned skill. It's not innate. Yeah. Great Danes are prone to severe separation anxiety if they aren't explicitly taught how to be alone. You want to teach calm, short separations early, leaving them in a quiet, safe sanctuary.
Because if you don't, you're going to face a 100-pound adolescent experiencing genuine trauma every time you go to the grocery store.
Oh, the damage they can do.
Yeah. The distress behaviors like pacing, drooling, destroying doors, persistent barking, that is real panic. That's a fight or flight response, not the dog being spiteful because you left.
Right. They aren't chewing through the drywall to punish you. They're chewing through it because their brain is telling them they're going to die without you.
Which is heartbreaking.
It is. So providing that crate prevents a massive, stressed animal from destroying a home in a panic. It gives them a safe, predictable off switch.
So once that puppy is rested and emotionally secure at home, then they eventually have to interact with the outside world.
The fun part.
Yes. And that is where the physics of good citizenship come into play. Because of their rapidly changing size, normal puppy behaviors escalate from cute quirks to actual human safety hazards almost overnight.
Socialization is the buzzword everyone uses, but people often misunderstand it completely.
How so?
Well, it is not about meeting every single dog or person that walks by. It's about emotional comfort around the ordinary. It's sitting on a park bench and just watching wheelchairs, hats, elevators, or calm dogs pass by without reacting.
Ah, so observing, not necessarily interacting.
Exactly. It is entirely about quality over quantity.
Because a fearful giant breed is dangerous purely due to its size.
Right.
If a Chihuahua gets spooked and bolts, you barely feel it. If a Great Dane gets spooked and bolts, you're going to the pavement.
Getting dragged, yeah.
You also have to balance the socialization with their vaccine schedule, so maybe they observe a busy street from a carrier or from your arms initially, and you have to respect their fear periods.
Those fear periods are critical to understand biologically. They are temporary developmental phases where a puppy's brain suddenly categorizes new things as threats to ensure survival.
Okay.
So if they are suddenly terrified of a trash can that they've walked past 100 times, you don't force the interaction, you don't drag them to it.
Just let it be.
Right, you let their brain process that it isn't a threat from a safe distance.
And inside the house, you have to actively supervise them with kids and other pets. A puppy can accidentally knock a child over or grab food right out of their hand without any malice.
Just clumsiness.
Yeah. Kids need strict rules, like no pulling ears or tails. Cats need elevated, secure retreats where the puppy absolutely cannot reach them.
And that leads into how we manage jumping.
Oh man, this is such a funny irony of human behavior. Because we accidentally train our dogs to jump.
We really do.
When we push a jumping puppy away while laughing, or even while saying no to the puppy, that is just a super fun wrestling match. It's like bad PR to a puppy. Any attention is good attention. Even if you're annoyed, you're looking at them and touching them. They won.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to realize that you aren't training the dog for the body they have right now. You are programming the software for the 130-pound hardware they will inhabit in 6 months.
Yes. So for jumping, you have to teach alternative behaviors early. 4 paws on the floor gets the attention. Going to a designated mat gets the attention.
Exact.
The same urgency applies to leash training. You cannot win a physical pulling contest against an adult Dane. It's a losing battle of physics.
You'll lose every time.
So you have to start loose leash check-ins on day 1. And if they take their sweet time coming back when you call them, do not punish a delayed recall, or they will never come back at all.
Handling is another critical piece of this puzzle, too. The dog must be completely comfortable with their paws, nails, ears, teeth, and body being touched.
Because they're going to the vet eventually.
Right. They need to be okay with stepping onto a strange, wobbly scale. An unhandled, fearful adult Great Dane requires multiple veterinary staff members just to conduct a safe routine exam.
That sounds incredibly stressful for the dog and the vet.
Sorry.
But this need for proactive physical management doesn't just apply to how the dog interacts with people. It dictates how they physically move through their environment, especially as they transition into that tricky adolescent phase.
The environment inside the house is a huge factor. Smooth floors, for example. Tile, hardwood, laminate. These are silent hazards for growing Danes.
Wait, why is that so specific to giant breeds?
It comes down to their rapidly growing joints and lack of stabilizing muscles. When they walk on hard, slippery floors, they experience these constant microslips.
Like they can't get traction.
Exactly. And to compensate, they adopt wider stances, which puts terrible, unnatural stress on their developing hips and shoulders. Yeah, every time they slide, it creates micro-traumas in the cartilage. Over time, that leads to severe orthopedic issues. Putting down non-slip rugs in key pathways is absolutely essential.
Which flows right into how much they should be exercising. You have to find the middle ground. You shouldn't put the puppy on extreme lockdown in a padded room out of fear of joint damage.
No, they need to move.
But you also have to strictly avoid forced long runs on pavement, repeated high jumps, endless games of fetch, or massive weekend blowouts at the park. Steady, moderate activity on soft surfaces is what their bodies need.
And that moderation extends to how they play and chew as well. You have to step in and stop rough play, the body slamming, the hand wrestling, before it spirals out of control.
Because it stops being cute very quickly.
Right. A puppy body slamming you is cute. An adult Dane body slamming you sends you to the hospital. And importantly, they're emotionally sensitive dogs. Physical intimidation or hitting them damages that crucial trust forever.
You also have to manage what they chew. If they steal a shoe or a TV remote, do not chase them.
Oh, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, chasing them turns it into a game. And let's face it, they have longer legs. They will always outrun you. Instead, you have to teach a calm trade. You swap the remote for a high-value treat.
Perfect.
And the barking. Their bark is incredibly deep, loud, and totally natural. You can't train it out completely, but you manage it with place training. Shouting back at a barking Great Dane just makes them think you've joined in and are barking right along with them.
The reality is, all of this careful management hits a wall when they reach adolescence.
Ah, the teenage phase.
Exactly. They are going to look like fully grown adults, but neurologically, they are emotional teenagers. They are going to test all those boundaries and routines you built.
So what do?
You just have to patiently reinforce everything. This is also the time when spay and neuter discussions happen, and the timing here is critical and highly individual.
The timing is a huge debate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is it so different for giant breeds compared to, say, a terrier?
It all comes down to hormones and growth plates. Sex hormones actually signal the growth plates in a dog's bones to close.
Oh, I see.
So if you spay or neuter a giant breed too early, you remove those hormones. Without that signal, the bones just keep growing. This leads to disproportionately long limbs, altered joint angles, and a significantly higher risk for bone cancer and torn ligaments later in life.
That is terrifying.
It is. You have to discuss the timing with your vet based on their specific developmental markers, not just a standard calendar date.
Which perfectly highlights why so much of what we are talking about comes down to knowing your specific dog.
Yeah.
Knowing their baseline.
Yes.
Like, what is their normal appetite? What does their normal stool look like? What is their normal walking gait? You have to know the baseline so you can instantly spot the abnormal. The slight limping, the subtle swelling, the pale gums, the sudden weight gain.
This raises an important question, though. How well do we really observe our pets? Knowing the baseline normal is without a doubt the most powerful tool an owner has to prevent a veterinary crisis.
That makes total sense.
If you don't know what their normal breathing rate looks like while they are resting on the couch, how will you know if they are in respiratory distress? You have to be an active observer of the animal in your care.
So what does this all mean? When I look at all these details together, it sounds like treating them like a fragile antique is just as bad as treating them like a rugged sports car.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. We have to perfectly curate their physical world. Literally putting down non-slip rugs and using car ramps early so they don't break their own growing mechanics. But we also have to actively sculpt their emotional world so they don't become a danger to themselves or others. Raising a Great Dane puppy is entirely about managing this massive, temporary gap between their physical size and their emotional maturity.
It is a profound gap. And it leaves me with a lingering thought that I want to offer you. Consider the concept of the invisible dog.
The invisible dog?
Yeah. Because Great Danes grow so incredibly fast, society looks at them and treats them like full-grown adults when they are still neurologically just infants. It makes me wonder, how often in our own human lives do we misjudge the emotional maturity or the hidden struggles of the beings around us? Whether they are our pets, our children, or even our peers. How often do we make assumptions simply based on their physical size or their outward capability?
That is such a powerful thought. Just because someone or some puppy looks big and capable doesn't mean they aren't still trying to figure out where their own feet are.
Exactly.
We really appreciate you joining us for this deep dive. Keep questioning the things around you, keep learning, and keep looking beneath the surface. And the next time you see a giant dog pull a dish towel off the counter, just remember, there might still be a tiny, exhausted puppy in there, just looking for a safe place to take a nap.